At Snellgrove Lake, Ontario, where men tread seldom, there is a cabin. As strange as it sounds, this cabin has allegedly been violated more than once by a large unknown animal, believed to be a Sasquatch. But this is not the first account of an aggressive Sasquatch.
Albert Ostman lived fairly close to my home, and I got to know him very well. I've interviewed him numerous times.
John Green is a retired Canadian journalist and a leading researcher into the Bigfoot phenomenon. He is a graduate of both the University of British Columbia and Columbia University, and has a database of more than 3,000 sighting and track reports, earning him the nickname Mr. Sasquatch. While researching his book Sasquatch, The Apes Among Us, Green interviewed Canadian outdoorsman Albert Ostman, recording his detailed and strange account. Ostman claimed he was kidnapped and held captive by a family of Sasquatch in 1924 while he was prospecting in British Columbia, Canada. This is the actual audio recording of Ostman's account made in 1966.
I was out on a prospecting trip. I was in, I think it was about 6 or 7 days. Then I was camping at the place there. And they began to bother me at night there. I thought first there would be porcupines or probably bear or something, but evidently it was something else. And that went on for about 3-4 nights. And finally one night I was picked up in my sleep and carried away. He carried me for, I don't know, probably 3-4 hours. Then I was let down in a valley where, of course, it was dark, you know. I heard a lot of chatter around. So a little after 4 o'clock in the morning when he let me down.
Ostman claimed the creature carried him in a sleeping bag, which also contained food supplies and his rifle. Ostman didn't feel threatened by the strange creatures, but he also didn't feel free to leave, so he settled in and made his own camp.
Finally, when it got lighter, I noticed these people around me, 4 of them, 2 big ones and 2 small ones, but they were all covered with hair and no clothes. Never bothered me. Evidently they had some reason why they wanted me there. I had enough wood gathered up so I cooked coffee. And I guess the aroma from that brought him near, and he was sitting about 10 feet away from me when I was drinking my coffee. And then I opened a box of snuff, you see, and when I opened that and took a pinch, you know, he reached out for it, you know, and he emptied it right in his mouth, and he swallowed it. And that didn't feel very good, you know. Tastes very good, I guess. So, and then he had to have something to drink, I guess. So he grabbed that and he drank the coffee can, ground and all.
As a result of the snuff and the coffee, the beast ran off, likely looking for water. That's when Ostman made his escape.
It's not a story that anybody would be inclined to believe today. The problem is that the descriptions that he gave of these individuals have been consistently supported throughout the years by subsequent observations.
If the Ostman Sasquatch, like the Snellgrove creature, is real, they must eat. Dr. Meldrum struggles with whether this wilderness has enough food sources to sustain a large beast.
An animal that is at one with its surroundings, like a Sasquatch or any other animal that frequents these areas, would certainly find ample resources abounding here in the Canadian forest.
Snellgrove Lake and the surrounding area is frozen all but 10 to 12 weeks a year, An 800-pound animal would likely need more than just lichen, berries, and roots to sustain itself. But Meldrum may have found another source.
One of the plentiful food sources here in the North Bush are spruce grouse, which are rather tame, unafraid of humans. And as an experiment, I attempted to hunt one down myself and was able to stalk one to within a few feet. Had I wanted to dispatch it, it would have been very easy to do so, even by hand, let alone picking up a stone and knocking it down or knocking it from a low tree branch where they often roost.
Meldrum theorizes Sasquatch would most likely be nomadic, moving through the area during the months of June, July, and August, when food sources are at their peak, the same time fishermen inhabit the cabin at Snellgrove Lake. For Meldrum and Nelson, bad weather may have hampered last night's efforts. It is already late on day 3, and Meldrum is anxious to pick up Nelson from his remote camping spot.
I'm glad to see you guys.
Ah, I bet. Must have been a fun experience.
Oh, it was neat, but it rained a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything. I had the camera traps out.
It is the team's final night at Snellgrove Lake. After 3 days of noise and foraging, they are still holding out hope for an encounter. The huge fire acts as a beacon, its glow visible for miles. The team is waiting with infrared and thermal cameras to see into the night. They are ready, or so they think. At around midnight, without warning, something happens.
They were probably watching us this whole time.
Of course they were.
Something has thrown a rock at the camp.
Did you hear that?
That rock was pretty good size. I'm still shaking. It sounded to me like it hit from that side and hit this.
I thought it came over the crest into this side and walked to the edge of the building.
No, please.
Kurt,
Let's stay here. We've had action now. We've had rocks thrown at us.
Throughout history, the Canadian wilderness has been home to hunters, trappers, and explorers. It may also be home to a monster.
People now, the general population has more knowledge of the subject as a whole, and now people can, without too much difficulty, find someone to actually report it to, whereas in the past, no one had any idea who to report something like this to.
The Sasquatch is similar to other creatures seen around the world, but is also different. The Yeti is said to be a quadruped, or an ape that moves on all fours. The Almasty is a Russian wild man that is more like man than ape and uses fire. Sasquatch is more like an ape or unknown primate. Most reports also point to how elusive and shy these animals are, avoiding human contact, but not always.
Sasquatch sightings happen when they come close to people, not the other way around.
Most eyewitness encounters end as suddenly and harmlessly as they began, but not at Snellgrove. Eyewitnesses claim this beast does not seem to like visitors.
Oh, I don't know what would make that sound. I wasn't that close to it, but I really heard it. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it.
Without warning, a rock flies out of the woods and hits the cabin.
One of us was urinating off the porch when the first stone hit the side of the cabin.
This rock on the side of the building was bang. It's scary. It's amazing. It's always stuff you hear about that doesn't happen to you. I've been in the woods a lot. I camped a lot, and I was out in the woods all by myself last night.
Camera crews scan the immediate area with the night vision and thermal cameras as the team retreats into the cabin.
That's so weird.
This is quite exciting, I have to admit. I've not experienced anything quite this dramatic before.
One crew member threw a rock back into the woods, only to have another rock thrown back.
And that was followed shortly after by a rather larger rock bouncing down the roof of the cabin. This is quite distinct. Obviously, there's nothing in the woods that's recognized anyway that can lob rocks in that fashion.
And we're all together. I'm with everybody, so I know that it's nobody goofing around.
While one cameraman scouts around the area, the rest of the team lock themselves into the cabin for the night.
We came in from outside, and we're cowering in here. I'm afraid for the first time, and it was for sure a rock, and it was for sure on the roof of the building.
Yeah, so we're back inside the cabin at the moment. We've turned down the lights inside, and so we can get a better view through the windows and just see if anything goes through our line of sight.
The morning could not come soon enough for Meldrum, Nelson, and the entire crew. And at first light, the camp's owner, Chuck Mossback, has returned to fly the crew out.
What happened?
We really had some action last night. Yeah, it was amazing.
An examination of the area reveals no tracks or other evidence. But whatever hit the roof that night may still be there. Only primates use tools as weapons. Rock and stick throwing is common in chimps and great apes.
Good throwing rock.
Whatever or whomever threw the rocks at the cabin is never revealed. But Meldrum and Nelson leave with an ample supply of blood, hair, and tissue from the screwboard.